Let's look at the best comments of the damn week. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus, and as always, we're going through the top comments of the week. Ton of great comments. Pick some random ones. Hope everybody is having a wonderful Saturday. Lupagus and I are going to snowshoe later and get drunk.
Thanks for having me, Onebar. I'm really happy to be here.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, so everybody, thank you for commenting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And you know what? To show my thanks, I want you guys to go and get yourselves a Lift Bridge brew on you. Pick it up at your local liquor store or go to the facility in Stillwater. Beautiful place to have a beer.
Yes, beers will be had. Let's do this. I actually have 8. I snuck in a one at the end that just selfishly for us. And hit the sub button. Let's get the 10K. Can we please get the 10K so we stop talking about it?
For God's sakes already.
Jesus. All right, let's go. Comment
over my knee.
Leckerstorfer. Can Rager be salvaged? Gave up a 5th for him. Offense genius needs to coach him up. A question I think that are on a lot of Vikings minds. Hopeful that we could salvage him.
Well, I mean, I think it comes down, what is the definition of salvage? Are you looking for him to be a wide receiver, 180 receptions, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns? Then no. Can you figure out a role for him? Absolutely. It's got to be trick plays, gadget plays. You got to purposely intend to get him the ball like 5 times a game. I think he can do something with that. What's his ultimate stat line going to be like? I think top end, you're looking 40 receptions, maybe 600 yards, couple touchdowns, then maybe some rushing yards as well. So he can be salvaged in a gadget role. If you're looking for anything beyond that, then no.
And let's remember, we didn't use a 1st-round pick on him. He might be a 1st-round bust. We didn't use that pick. We used a 5th-round pick. So basically, he's still 24 years old, and he's younger than a lot of players even in this draft. So
in next year's draft.
24-year-old. I look at it as he was a 24-year-old, 23-year-old last year. 5th-round pick by the Vikings. Decent punt returner. We'll see what happens. But I take the 1st-round thing out of it, and the fact that we gave up a 5th gives a shit.
No, I mean, you gave up a 5th knowing what he hasn't really mounted anything yet. But, yeah, I just think there's a role for him, but it has to be, like, intended, and you have to, like, really put plays in for him every game.
If he continues to be our punt returner, and nobody can argue he's fine at that. And
look at the stats. He was ranked very, very low.
Compared to previous, let me rephrase, compared to previous Vikings punt returners those last couple of years, he's been a Hall of Famer. But if he tops out as a decent punt returner and a number 4 wide receiver, I'm not butthurt at all.
So your definition of salvage is a little different than mine. That's fine.
Yeah, salvage is basically making the team because he's a 5th-rounder. Look at all of our 5th-round picks; they usually don't even make the team.
And let's be honest, he might not make the team. He's no shoe-in.
He's no shoe-in. All right, next up, kind of a lengthy one, but I like this one by L.S. Gregor because it's right. It's true. I feel that what we have been missing on defense since Griffith left the team. We need a high-energy, emotional leader. Z was that guy at the beginning of the season. He seemed to have lost it after his injuries. Hunter, Smith, Kendrick's talented, but basically they're not that hoorah guy out there just getting everybody excited when our defense doesn't have that.
Does he mean never seen Griffin?
Yeah.
Griffin? Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a guy who can bring that. I think that's Brian Asamoah, assuming he does get the starting spot. He can be that ball of energy that gets everybody pumped up. But, yeah, he's right. Right now, there isn't that guy. I mean, Hunter's a great player, but he's not a guy who gets everybody else riled up.
Yeah, I mean, Harrison Smith's never been that guy. Eric Kendrick's pretty damn quiet out there. This defense needs that guy out there firing everybody up. And you mentioned Asamoah. Andrew Booth was giving us a few glimpses of that early in training camp, having some swagger, getting in people's face. So I'm banking on him maybe to bring a little oomph to this. But hopefully next year we have that guy.
It's going to come from one of these younglings. One of these younglings is going to bring the fire.
I think our whole defense is going to be younglings. So
Feel the heat.
That was bad. All right, next up, Brett Merritt, possibly related to Ray. Could the Vikings stop finding band-aids along the defensive interior? Guys like Pierce, Tomlinson, Phillips were all C-plus players who got paid like A players. I got some thoughts on this.
Yeah, I do too, but you can start.
Well, first off, they're not paid like A players. Look at it. Tomlinson, I looked it up quick. Harrison Phillips is the 23rd highest paid defensive lineman. That is not A. Tomlinson, 10th highest. Maybe that's getting into the A area, but pay-wise, it's not the issue. And Pierce, absolutely a bust. Can't go against that. Injuries killed him. But Tomlinson, very good. If you're not happy with Tomlinson's production last year of what we like, the 10th paid highest defensive lineman, I guess we'll just disagree on that. Harrison Phillips, again, I don't think he's a Band-Aid. I think he's going to be here for a while, and I think he's pretty damn good for what he's getting paid.
Yeah, Thompson's a guy who should not be on this list. I mean, he's actually very, very good. What he doesn't always get noticed. But again, I think the last 4 games of the season, he was our best defensive player. It wasn't even close. What he can do there in the interior, I really hope he comes back. If he doesn't, his D-line's in a lot of trouble. But and you're right too. Phillips is another guy I think is just fine. So I don't really agree with this at all, except for the Michael Pierce was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, my expectations have been drastically changed with this 3-4. I don't expect Tomlinson and Phillips to light up the stat sheet. They had some very good stuff. So, I mean, they were playing good against the run, but I have to Miyagi my brain into thinking we need the guys behind them putting up the stats while these guys up front do the dirty work, and I think they did.
But I do think there's a strong chance a very early draft pick is used on a defensive lineman.
Let's go. Never be satisfied with the defensive line, baby. Win through the trenches.
Yes.
I don't know if I did this one. All right. This was the Trenton Simpson talk. Exactly, Lupagus. Trenton Simpson's versatility is exactly the type of player Flores wants. I know it's not the popular option, but most great defenses have great linebackers. And the reason I put this one in there is because we had old Joe D on yesterday talking up some Trenton Simpson. So Lupagus, go ahead.
Well, yeah, and it felt like Simpson was a guy you're seeing in simulators going in round 3. So I want to get Joe's opinion, and he loves this dude, and he thinks he's going to not follow the top 15. But you talk with Brian Flores' defense. He went out and said he wants versatile players. Well, this is the guy then. Trenton Simpson can do so many different things. You can put him at safety. You can put him on the outside edge. You can put him inside. You can help put him with his hand in the dirt, let him rush the passer. He is a versatile piece. And if you draft him, this is what Joe said. If you draft him knowing that and that's the way you want to use him, he should be a top 15 pick. If you're trying to force him into a system like an inside linebacker, that's where, you might see him slide. So whatever teams decide to do with him, I think ultimately depends where he goes off the board.
Yeah, and I even asked him, I said, is there any way, I mean, you're going to be shocked if he goes in the round 2, because in these mocks, you're seeing him not usually in round 1, sometimes not even round 2. And he said, there's no way in hell that's happening. Teams are going to fall in love with this guy, and he will be drafted early.
He pretty much picked him as a guy who's going to really skyrocket after the combine.
Pew! Thank you. All right, next up, Trevor Lee. So this has been a talker a few times. Naylor and Osborne are more than enough with Hockenson and Justin Jefferson. No team is perfect. Can't pay them all. Look at Adam Thielen's beef. He thinks he's being neglected. So long story short, he thinks Naylor or KJ Osborne could be our wide receiver 2 with no issues.
Well, we've seen the issues. We've seen when that happens, and what happens? Justin Jefferson gets double, triple teamed, and he's taking over the game. Then we have no one to throw to. Hockenson can pick up some of the slack, but it hasn't been proven that Naylor or Osborne can do that role. Is it an option? Yeah. I mean, I think if all else fails, you don't get a wide receiver in the draft, you can potentially look at that. But if you have the chance to get a guy who can be that number 2, take coverage away from Justin Jefferson every single game, why wouldn't you take it?
Yeah, I can't disagree with this one more. And you said it. I mean, when Adam Thielen, there was no beef there. He just couldn't get open. He's an elderly man these days. He was fantastic, but he was not Adam Thielen that we've seen in the past. So I can't compare that. Jalen Naylor hasn't even shown a sniff out there at all. And KJ Osborne, perfect number 3. Perfect number 3.
So number 2 still needed. But Adam Thielen's still here for now. He's not gone yet.
He will be. He will be.
I know. It's time.
All right. The important thing to remember is if Flores can get our defense even in the middle of the pack with our offense, this is going to be good.
Good enough. Yeah. He's right. I'll let you elaborate.
I just think, anybody who thinks Flores is going to come in and just completely do a miracle job and we're a top 5 defense might be a little unrealistic. So Flores coming in, even if our defense ranked like 17, that is a huge ass win. We're 31-32 last year. So we got to be realistic. And he's right. If we can get this defense even decent, our offense is going to carry the load just like Lupagus on a Tuesday morning.
Well, and what did our defense not do? They didn't make stops.
Everything.
Especially the Giants game in the playoffs. They couldn't force the other team to punt I think they finally did late. And then when the games we were winning late, we were suddenly turning the light on late in the fourth quarter. All of a sudden, this team's making stops. So you got to consistently make some stops, make the other team punt the football. Hell, if it's 4 times a game, that should be enough for us to win by 2 touchdowns with this offense. That's how good this offense is and can be. Yeah, I didn't think you could even get like 24th and be a lot better. And this defense is horrible. I mean, the bar is not high to get this thing better.
And just think if we had a new number 2 wide receiver.
Oh,
Trevor
my God.
Lee is fuming at that stage.
He's so pissed right now.
Pissed once Jalen Naylor.
Hope he didn't unsubscribe.
It's always fun to root for the late round wide receiver that lights it up or looks good, like in shit time or
well, I mean, Naylor did have. At least he did make some. We have 2 touchdowns. He got a couple bombs. I mean, that's good. Better than nothing.
It is better than nothing. I don't know if I did this one. Oh, yeah. All right.
Did,
right. All right. Last one. And this is just for us to plug the wonderful interview that we had with Caleb Murphy. If you haven't watched Caleb Murphy interview, go check it out. You're going to love this guy. He's fantastic. Dave quotes him. I love hitting quarterbacks. I love it. And that's what he said. He said he loves hitting quarterbacks.
I was so impressed with Caleb Murphy, just the way he presents himself, the way he answered these questions. He answered them honestly, but also very, very confidently. And he wasn't coming off as cocky. He was just well-spoken. He said, I know what I had to do to get better and to get my name recognized playing D2. And he did that. And he knows his situation. He's a small school guy, and he's willing and ready and already doing the right things to prove to teams he's worthy of a draft pick. And I couldn't have been more impressed by him.
Yeah, hit up that interview. We got a lot of draft. We're going to have a lot of people coming on, whether it's a draft analyst, potential future Hall of Fame players in the draft. But Caleb Murphy, check it out. Be sure to watch him at the Combine. He's going to light shit up. That's our comments. That's it. As always, It was wonderful.
Thanks for everybody for commenting. And remember this, a kitchen sponge has 200,000 times more bacteria than a toilet seat.
Oh.